Thanks for coming to Politics and Life. This is Jordan. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. If you wouldn't mind, please like, comment, subscribe. We are reacting to Joe Biden doing a CNN interview. It was a train wreck, if you ask me. He pretty much just lied through the whole thing, and instead of taking any ownership of him and his administration, he just blamed everyone else as usual. If anything good happens in his administration, he takes the credit, but if there's anything bad that's raised or talked about, then it's other people's fault. Example, Putin or Trump or anyone else except Joe Biden. Let's get it started.
What about, but there's real pain. Grocery prices are up 30%, more than 30% since the beginning of the pandemic. And people are spending more on food and groceries than they have at any time really in the past 30 years. That's a real day-to-day pain that people
feel. It really is. And it's real. But the fact is that if you take a look at what the people have, they have the money to spend. It angers them and angers me that you have to spend more. For example, the whole idea of this notion that Senator Casey talked about, shrinkflation. I think it's on your
same
program.
Price for a smaller bottle of juice or something.
For example, Snickers bar, they did a thing, and it's like 20% less for the same price. That's corporate greed. It's corporate greed. And we've got.
So not only does he acknowledge that people are spending more than they have on groceries in the past 30 years, he then says, you have the money, acting like he knows every American's situation financially. They have the money to pay for it. And then after he acknowledges that there's a problem, he blames the grocery chain. This is just ridiculous. He never takes any ownership for his actual policies, and it's pathetic. So this next clip you're going to see, it's just another clip of seeing him asking a basic question. What does he do? He lies.
It breaks anyone's heart to look at it. And obviously we've seen that frustration here in the U.S. on college campuses. And Mr. President, had signs at college campuses. Some say Genocide Joe. Any of us that have gone to those campuses, sometimes we hear that chant. Do you hear the message of those young Americans?
Absolutely, I hear the message. Look, two things. First of all, there's a legitimate right to free speech and protest. There's a legitimate right to do that, and they have a right to do that. There's not a legitimate right to use hate speech. There's not a legitimate right to threaten Jewish students. There's not a legitimate right to block people access to class. That's against the law. That's against the law. And so, if you look at the data, these demonstrations are real, but they're not nearly, look, and I made a speech on the Holocaust the other day. Mm-hmm. And I pointed out that, it took 7 decades to get to the place where after the Holocaust occurred, and there's still anti-Semitism. Look what's happened in 7 weeks, 70. What's happening? Everybody's sort of forgotten about what happened in Israel. Those 1,200 young kids murdered. I saw pictures. I went over there shortly after. A mother and a daughter being roped together and then kerosene poured and burned to death. Nothing's like that to happen in the Jewish community since then.
I agree. That was a terrible day. I choose to stay in American politics. I'm America first, but I am against these kids in these colleges that are protesting against Jews and wishing harm on cops and treating the police like garbage and pretty much turning these used to be world-renowned institutes into laughing stocks around the world. In my opinion, they're just indoctrination centers. It's very sad what the colleges have turned into. And it doesn't even seem like he can even answer the question properly. He's just like, he can't even talk properly without stumbling and bumbling. We need a leader back in the White House that can talk through strength, where people respect us on the world stage. And that's not what people see with Biden. Let me tell you that much.
When you talk about the economy, of course, it is by far the most important issue for voters. It's also true right now, Mr. President, that voters by a wide margin trust Trump more on the economy. They say that in polls. And part of the reason for that may be the numbers. And you're aware of many of these, of course. The cost of buying a home in the United States is double what it was when you look at your monthly costs from before the pandemic. Real income, when you account for inflation, is actually down since you took office. Economic growth last week, far short of expectations. Consumer confidence, maybe no surprise, is near a 2-year low. with less than 6 months to go to election day, are you worried that you're running out of time to turn that around?
We've already turned it around. Look at the Michigan survey. For 65% of American people think they're in good shape economically. They think the nation's not in good shape, but they're personally in good shape. The polling data has been wrong all along. You know, how many, you guys do a poll with CNN, how many folks you have to call to get one response? The idea that we're in a situation where.
What does calling people have to do with a poll? He said you have to call many people to get one response. This guy just makes no sense. And he's about to lie where he says that he fixed pretty much inflation, and that inflation was higher than when Trump was in the White House. And actually it was at 1.9%. CNN actually fact checked him after this interview. So he's going to lie. You're going to see.
Things are so bad. The folks that, I mean, we've created more jobs. We're in a situation where people have access to good paying jobs.
That's a lie. A lot of people have just returned to jobs. That's it. They haven't been creating record jobs. That's a lie.
And the last I saw, the combination of the inflation, the cost of inflation, all those things, that's really worrisome to people with good reason. That's why I'm working very hard to bring the cost of rentals down, to increase the number of homes that are available. But let me say it this way. When I started this administration, people were saying there's going to be a collapse in the economy. We have the strongest economy in the world. Let me say it again, in the world.
Although GDP last week was far short of expectations.
Oh, it wasn't. Look, GDP is still growing. Look at the response of the markets. Overwhelmingly positive. Overwhelmingly positive. And one of the reasons why people feel good about it not being as strong as it was before is they believe that the Fed's going to respond.
They hope they're going to get a rate cut.
Yeah. Well, but I mean, no president's had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation. It was 9% when I came to office. 9%. But look,
that's a lie.
People have a right to be concerned. Ordinary people, the idea that you bounce a check and you get a $30 fee for bouncing the check, I changed that.
What?
You can't charge more than $8 for that. Or your credit card, your late payment, $35. I mean, there's corporate greed going on out there, and it's got to be dealt with.
So now not only is it the grocery store's fault, it's the bank's fault because people are getting charged for either late fees or overdraft fees. This guy is just embarrassing. Like, the fact that his team came out and said that this was a good idea to put this interview out just shows you how incompetent this administration is in general and how stupid they think the American people are. They keep on telling us, don't believe your lying eyes, while everything skyrockets in price, while your freedoms get taken away and your security and safety is taken away at the same time. And it's very sad. I hope people are waking up. I believe people are waking up in a mass awakening right now around the world. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, subscribe. Talk to you soon. Peace.